Hello everyone, how are you doing today? When I started Mary's Thoughts, I promised God, myself, and each and every one of you that I was going to open up conversations that I know many young people, especially young people within the church, feel very uncomfortable having. I have come to understand that the church systems that we have built, and by the church systems, I do not mean any particular ministry or any particular building. I mean the church communities that we come to be a part of because we want to be spiritually edified and we want to grow spiritually, right? Such systems that were meant to build us up as people have often broken some of us down. And when I have conversations with a lot of young people, I find that a lot of them have had their hearts hardened towards the things of God because they have so many questions on their mind about the way things are being done and the way they are told to do certain things, and they do not have the opportunities to ask the questions they want to ask. I mean, even when I walked into the studio today, I was speaking to my videographer and he shared the same thing with me. The exact same thing I hear every day. The truth is that many of us have been broken down by church systems. And we really do not want to say this out because we're trying to hold it all in and put everything at the feet of Jesus. In all honesty, I think that a lot of young people are protecting themselves from the church because of some of the things they have seen going on around them and some of the things they saw their parents experience within the church, and they're holding back rather than opening up and letting God have his way in their life. One of the reasons why I am doing this is because I can relate to this. I can relate to this type of situation. I'm a pastor's daughter, and as a young person, I was very inquisitive, and so there were so many questions I had around my relationship with God and the church systems that I saw and heard and I was a part of in one way or another. And each time I tried to ask these questions, I was met with answers that seemed like, this is the way it is, so we just need to take it like that. And so I struggled with understanding what exactly the love of God felt like for a very long time, even in my young adult life. To abuse is to misapply, mistreat, misuse anything that was meant for good, up to a point that it starts getting used for the wrong purpose. And as we keep shoving down the activities and the doctrines of religion on a lot of young people, we do not encourage spirituality, but we force them into these boxes that they do not want to be a part of. These various forms of abuse need to go. And even though in the past couple of years, the emphasis has just been only on sexual abuse, there are other various forms of abuse that many people go through in church that they are too heartbroken to even speak about, especially when these forms of abuse have left them confused and wondering what way to go. Add this to the distractions of the 21st century. It's a whole party. And it's difficult to be able to reach many of us young people where we are, because there's a whole world out there saying, come as you are, come the way you want to be. We're going to take you. There's no pretense. Everything is black and white. It's just the way you see it. It's just the way you think it is. But within the church, it's like, oh, it could be like this, but when you see that, you just ignore it and don't say anything and just keep following things going this way. And so that confusion leaves us feeling like, okay, are we really in the right place, or are we actually doing the things that we're supposed to do? I'm sitting here thinking, if so many young people have these questions, why are there not platforms where they can ask these questions freely and get answers freely? I'm sitting here thinking that if many of us keep withdrawing and pulling back from the church as a community, where else are we going to run to? I'm here today to say that serving God is not supposed to be as complex as it has been painted to many of us. And if we do not take time to deconstruct some of these strongholds that have been imposed on us, we may not be able to move forward as a church. God is a God of love. God is a God of peace. God is a God of oneness and wholeness. He does not judge. He doesn't point fingers. And he doesn't even put people in all these boxes. So why should we as a church have people in all these boxes that we think make us or make some of us more worthy than others? We can no longer have a church where people are being pushed away rather than brought together to understand that we need to build systems that encourage and foster and grow in the love of God. We can no longer have ourselves focus on the things that matter the least while we ignore the things that matter most. The reason why I am doing this Abuse in Church series is to open up these discussions for each and every one of us to have. And I'm not even sitting here saying I am on anyone's side or I am on one end of the spectrum against another. I am just wanting to share some of these discussions and open up a platform where a lot of young people can bring in these discussions and we can ascertain what is right and what is wrong based on the principles of the Bible. I will be doing a 6-part series titled Abuse in Church, and I am hoping that through this I would be able to share my understanding of some of the things that are not supposed to happen within the church, so that even as young Christians, when we are able to identify some of these things in our places of worship or service to God, we would know that if we need to grow spiritually, it is required of us to take steps back and ask God what the way forward is and what we need to do about these varying situations. So I'd like you to join me on Mary's Thoughts every Thursday, actually, where we'll discuss some of these things and share some of these thoughts and explain some of these things to one another, just so we're clear on what direction we are headed in our spiritual journey. Thank you very much and see you soon. Goodbye.